Good morning, everybody. It's a few minutes before New York Open, and I thought it'd be a great opportunity to share with you something I've been working on for over a year now. We've been creating a suite of products specifically for NinjaTrader. If you trade with NinjaTrader, this will get you everything you need. It's a great place to start, a great foundation, has a lot of different tools, features, has a strategy builder. It has a chart trader, a control panel where you can do a lot of things live, and you've also got a copier. So everything you need to get started as a trader. Not only that, it has advanced features. If you've been trading for a long time, this will add a lot of things that you might not even thought you needed. Let's dive in. We've got one of our strategies running. We'll use this as our example. This strategy is an ADX cross. This suite of products that we built, one of the things you get with it is the strategy builder that will let you do a lot of different things. And as we grow, we're going to continue adding to it, but it's already very feature filled, hundreds of filters. We've got about 20 entry types. If you've been looking for something where you can really tinker around with and find a strategy that works for you in your time zone, this is a great place to be. So let's get started. This is the strategy builder right here. It's a strategy. You just load it up right through here. Nothing crazy. Once it's loaded, this is what you're presented with right here. Just go down the list of a few different things. We'll just keep an eye on the strategy behind us, see if anything kicks off, and maybe we'll get to see a live trade today. So first section right here is just global settings for the builder. I'm not going to go through everything this time. We'll make separate videos for sections. You've got the option of Windows notifications, so you'll actually get a pop-up in the right-hand corner every time a trade kicks off and every time the trade closes. You can set it up for either to auto-dismiss the notification if you like, or if not, you can put it to 0 and it'll just stay there until you click on it. Next is our strategy entry types. This is where you can pick different strategies depending on your trading style. And like I said, this list is only going to grow. We've been creating this product and we've created a great foundation for it. So going forward, a lot of what we're going to be adding are new strategies, new filters, new things that are specific to trading. We've got about 20 different strategies here. And you'll see that the way our builder is set up is you've got a very simple entry, and then you've got tons of things that can affect it. We want to be able to build it out because with time, as anybody who's traded a while knows, that markets shift on you. They don't sit and they're not the same over time. Volume changes, a lot of different things can happen. The idea behind this is that you can literally shift and change your strategy as the markets do. If you choose an entry type that has a parameter that's specific to it, that'll pop up right here. Then we've got the initial trade parameters, and these are just the way the trade will be configured from the beginning, like the position size, the profit target, the stop loss. If you want to calculate your take profit from the close price versus the average entry price, if you want to trade both directions, or you just want long or short, instead of trading longs, it always takes a short or whatever it might be. Alternating trades where if you've taken a long, the next one must be a short. So things like that where it just applies to the entire entry type. Then you've got your advanced trading parameters, and this is where it gets nice because this is where you can really customize that strategy. In here you've got dynamic take profit settings, you've got event take profit settings, you've got dynamic stop loss, event stop loss. You've just got a lot of options, a lot of different ways to work it. They're all right there. Then you've got basic limit orders. You can pick from where the price will be set at. You've got something that we do, Ninja Ghost entries right here. And basically when you enable these, it takes your signal. So let's imagine you got a signal, right? And you're like, okay, I love the signal. I really want to wait until the previous candle gap that just happened gets filled. Or say, I want to wait now that I got the signal and see if it closes above or below this candle. Or I want to wait for X, Y, or Z. That's exactly what this is. So once you get a signal, it'll pause and it'll wait for that event to occur. And if it doesn't occur within the bars that you say, it'll actually cancel that trade. And so it's a very powerful system. You can do pullbacks, you can do opening range retest, it can close above or below the candle. It's a lot of different things you can do with it. Real quick though, let me just show you here, now that we're in session and we're about 5 minutes into the session. You can see right here, our session start time, 9:35 a.m. It'll actually turn green when you're in session. And then half an hour before the session ends, this will turn orange, so you know that we're nearing that time. And then when you're out of session, both of them are white. We'll see if we get a trade here. The specific strategy, when this line crosses above the 30, depending on some of the filters we have, if that occurs and you're above the EMA, it'll take a trade. We got global signal candle filters, and this is basically filters that are applied to the signal candle at the time the signal should occur. These filters get applied and it returns as true. You can take the trade. If not, it'll stop you from taking the trade. So things like previous candle colors, if they match the candle that you're taking the trade off of. You've got things like candle sizes, with the wick, without the wick. You've got the option to actually choose if there was, depending on the gap between the two last candles, minimum, maximum. You've got the option of choosing an engulfing candle, the candle color direction matching. So if you've taken a long and had to have closed the bullish green or other color, depending on what you select there. Flat candle top or bottom for Heikin-Ashi strategies. And we actually have our own Heikin-Ashi bar system, the global candle filters. Then we've got things like break-even, DCA, and reversal parameters. If you choose DCA, for example, you got up to 4 DCA options here. You just put the quantity, the ticks in your draw, and then you can actually update the take profit from that if you'd like. Choose how many ticks beyond break-even if you want. There's a lot of things you can do in here. Then we've got advanced chart settings. For example, candle settings. This lets you actually choose the color of the candles. People like to customize, and that's what it's for. You can choose your up candles, your down candles, and your neutral candles. Neutral candle is where the price opens and closes on the same value, and so you can choose a color for that specifically. And then you've got the NinjaTrader Pro parameters, and that's when you're within the chart itself. You've got the option to plot your real close dot if you're doing a Heikin-Ashi. And then you've got the option to actually choose just a single candle itself. When you're in live trading, if you want a specific color for the signal candles, you can do that right here. I think it's very customizable for every kind of user, both a manual trader, automated trader. It's set up so you can do it either way. You can use the builder, you can ignore the builder. There's so many features here that it works for any type of trader. And that's the beauty of it. Let's move on now to our built-in indicators. We've got 15, 16 different indicators that are built into the strategy. For example, just go to Super Trend Indicator, and this will pop up right down here. As you can see that when you choose a setting on the drop down, it'll pop up all of the different settings you can use. So everything in here, as you select it, it shows. Once you select something else, that hides and the new one shows. That way it keeps your interface real clean. Back to Super Trend. So this is where you can decide if you want to see your super trend on the chart or not. You can choose that, and that's a nice thing. You don't have to have the indicator showing, but it's still working for you. And then you've all the indicator settings, and then you've got some different filters in here, like super trend directional trade only. So if you're in a bullish trend, it'll only allow you to take, for example, a long. We've got multi-time frame settings. You've got fractals, indicator RSI, indicator MACD, moving averages. This is really nice. You've got up to 7 moving averages, and you can customize them in chunks. For example, moving average 1, 2, and 3. You can choose the type of moving average. You can choose the source of it. You can choose the lengths. And then you have filters for it. For example, we have a filter here, close past filter, and everything's got tooltips that explain to you what it does. But for example, a close past filter is just saying if you're taking a long, it needs to pass. For example, if you choose XMA1, it has to close above the moving average 1, which is 8 here. If you're taking a short, it has to move past it and close below it. Again, basic, simple moving average filter. But then you've got like the basic trend filter, and this one actually is a stacking filter where all 3 of these must stack, one above the other for long, one below the other for shorts. And then you got different filters in here and things. So all those settings are customizable. Here's your view option. So this one here is real simple. You could use multiple filters, but say you only want to see your moving average 6, which is your 200 EMA. You can just write a 6 in there, and then that's the only one that you'll see on your chart. But if you want to see 1, 2, and 3, you can write that 1, 2, 3, and it'll show you whatever you write in there. And so that's how that works. And again, we've got a lot of different filters in here: VWAP, market structure, supply and demand, fair value gaps. A lot of these will have filters. Some don't have filters yet. Some they're just so you can see them on there or work with one of the entry types. Whatever you choose for entry type, if it's specific to one of these indicators, then all you have to do is go in here and update it. For example, we're on trend strength trading, the trend strength index indicator. And in here, you'll actually be able to choose the period and a bullish threshold, bearish threshold. And using those values is what creates the actual strategy. So it's a very basic strategy where when the trend starts or when the trend completes or however you set it up, it'll take a trade according to that. In here, you set up all those settings so you can adjust it however you want with the market, of course. Looks like we're about 15 minutes in and we haven't seen any trades. It's a slower day, but we've still got some time. Let's continue on. Your session time parameters, and this is very simple. You can choose continuous trading. You can choose 1 session, 2 sessions, or 3 sessions, and just fill them out. And in here, you've actually got your start time, end time, and flatten time. So if you want to flatten at a specific time from when the last trade is taken, you can do that. And all you have to do is enable this, and it'll flatten at that time no matter what. You've got options like skipping your first signal. You've got options where you stop after X amount of trades or losses or wins. And then you can actually select opening range. So if you're doing an opening range entry type, for example, you're on a 1-minute time frame, you want 15-minute opening range, you can actually select this and write 15 in there, and then 15 bars in. It'll create that opening range, and anything after that, it'll take. So it's very customizable, and that's what we're going for. It's a builder. We're not necessarily providing you a strategy saying run with it. What we're doing is providing you with the tools to create your own strategy. And the nice thing is that we're actually going to do a Discord, and it's going to be community centric. We want to create a community that works together, builds together, and wins together. That's the whole point of this. Now, we've got a couple in there already. I've been running a couple myself. I've been running this about a month now live. I have another user that's been running it for about a month, and then we've done a lot of back testing and a lot of different testing over the last few months. I love where it's at. I think it works well, and I hope you'll love it. The only other thing is in here, in the data series where you choose the type of instrument and the value, you can choose our Heikin-Ashi bars, and this is a custom one that we've created. It matches 1-for-1 as close as you can get to TradingView. So it's very similar if you're coming from TradingView and you need something that works similar. This system is one for one. I know that NinjaTrader's bar closes differently than other systems, so you have to take that into consideration. We've got multi-time frame settings here. Very simple. So whatever you put in here, that's what all the multi-time frame systems will use. So if you're working off MTF1, you've got a 5-minute system there, right? If you go back to Super Trend here, where it's got MTF1, all of this will be considered 5-minute. And then MTF2, what do we have? 15-minute. So all of that will be the 15-minute. So same thing with any other one that has multi-time frame. It's always based off that. Okay. So now that we've gone through the strategy builder, you have a really good idea of how that works. Here's actually one that I've been working on for the last day. We've tested this for the last full year, and it worked really nice. This one right here is just for the last 4 months, where it's been performing even better. If you go to analysis, so this is 4 months worth. This is what I like to see when I look at my analysis. A chart that just gradually increases with time. That's what I love to see. I've seen strategies where everything is just always down here at the bottom or in the negative, and then all of a sudden you've got a month where it just flies up. I like to see a gradual change over time, increasing in profit. And I bet most people do. I also see my max drawdown to be less than 10%, around 10% of the net profit. We do show commission in here. I've seen strategies where if you have commission off, they look really great because they trade a lot. But as soon as you turn your commission on, sometimes they even go into a loss. I like to keep it on because it gives me a more realistic idea of what I'm expecting. And this strategy specifically is actually a 1 to 2. So your target is 30 ticks, whereas your stop loss is 15. And so even though you have a really low winning rate, your profit is nice. Let's go now to here. Maybe we'll see a trade kickoff. I guess we'll start with the chart trader. You've got buttons up here that allow you to pause. So if you press that, it actually pauses the strategy. So right now, no trades can be taken even if all the filters were hit. We don't want that right now. The next option is strategy longs live and shorts live. And that basically lets you control what you're going to let the automated system give you. So if, for example, you look and you're like, look, market's in a downtrend. Sure, there might be small spikes going up, but I don't want to take anything, only shorts at this point, because obviously that's what's going to win. And so you can literally turn off your longs right here. You pause them and it will not take a single long. It'll only take the shorts while this is paused. And so even if you get a long signal, nothing happens. And same with the shorts. You can pause that if you want. This next button right here, automated entry. This lets you choose from automated entry to manual entry with signals or without signals. So you have 3 different options. And if you want, you click it, you go to manual. There you go. Manual entry with signals. You can actually see the strategy turns manual here. And this will only show you signals when they happen, but it will not enter you into a trade. And so if you like to trade manually, you can do that. One of the biggest things I like about this is that it puts me into the trade, because that's my weakest point. I see I should enter into trade. I see the indicators. I see everything that's going on. And I'm like, okay, this is a great trade, but I hesitate. I bet a lot of people do. Your emotions start kicking in, your fingers having a hard time clicking that mouse, and that's just how it goes. So for me, I actually started this entire journey in building this because of that specific reason. I hesitate so much in entering trades, especially when I know I should. And so for me, I like automated entries because, one, they get you in real quick, much quicker than you can usually press that button, especially if you're waiting for the candle to close. By the time it closes, by the time you click, it's been maybe a second, 2 seconds, whatever it might be, whereas the automated entry will get you in. This just shows you what you're in for. For a long, it'll show you long here, how many contracts, the entry price, and profit and loss. You can click that to see points, percentage, pips, ticks, or dollars. And then it just shows you your connected account. Personally, I like to use a sim account since I do copy. Now, if you press the bring copier to front right here, it'll just show it. And so I do like to use a sim account because, in my opinion, you don't get as many errors when you're using sim. They get in, they get out, and errors will happen only in your actual trading accounts, but not in the account that enters and exits. So it's nice to have that. And so that's how I do it, but it's up to you. And then we've got the option to flatten, close, or cancel orders, reverse trade, and break even options. Then you've got the typical buy market, sell market buttons. You've got buy stops, sell stops for the previous and high and low, and that basically will put a flag right there. It's at the bottom of the previous candle, or you could do the top. Let's cancel it. It's always nice to take a look and make sure that all your orders have canceled as well. It opened one here, canceled it, everything canceled, nice and healthy. And so yes, it does work across the copier. When you put any limit order, it'll actually show it on the copier. It'll add it to all of the accounts, and they all take it. Let's see what else we got here. These 8 gray ones right here, these are conditional buttons. And so, for example, if you want a specific condition to occur for you to enter into a trade, you press one of those buttons, it highlights it, and if that occurs, you're entering into trade. For example, buy on green close, I click that. If this candle turned green, I would enter into a trade at the close, but we don't want that, of course. We've got sell on red close. We've got buy on high body, high wick. That's basically the previous body and the previous wick. And so if you click on that, you're saying, hey, if it closes above this body, that I want to be in. Let's leave that off for now. And then you've got high wick, and the line here, for example, if you click this, it'll create a line that says if it closes above that, take a trade. And you can actually move that line wherever you feel like. I just want to take a trade if it closes above that spot, then you can do that. Or you don't want it anymore, you click it and it's gone. Then you've got 2 different options for these conditional settings where you want it always to reset at the end of the bar. So if it's not taking that trade on that condition at the close of that bar, you want them all reset. You can do that right here, or if you want them to just continue until that condition is met, you change it to continuous, and it will do that for you. And this one just resets all these buttons. So if you highlight a few of them and you click it, it just resets everything for you. Here you can actually choose if you want to use the strategy settings, or if you want to use custom settings, or if you want to use ATM settings. And you just need to make sure your ATM settings are set up here. But that's basically it. You can actually choose your own custom settings for it to use when it enters into trades if you don't like what your strategy is using. Maybe the market conditions have changed, the volume is low. Like today it seems very low for some reason, or very slow moving. And then you've got your break-even options here. So if you like to use break-even, you can actually choose a certain amount of ticks into break-even. And then we got percentage options. So if instead of just breaking you even, it'll add 5%, 10%, 25 or 50% into profit. Depending on how you trade, you have a lot of options. We're going to grow together beyond what's here. I do think there's a lot here right now, and you can definitely hit the road running first day, start creating strategies, things that work for you, share them with other people, because the nice thing is when you share strategies, they can take that to the next level. Sometimes they'll see something you don't see and they'll try something, and all of a sudden that strategy, the net profit goes up, the draw goes down. That's what we want to see, and that's what we're trying to work for. Let's talk about the control panel a little quick. The control panel's purpose, and it is separate, so you've got control panel as an indicator you load separately, and then you've got your strategy, which you load separately. So you can actually run it without the control panel at all if you'd want. And the control panel and the chart trader can actually be hidden. So for example, a chart trader here, you have to have the control panel available to hide it. But if you have it, you can press that. It hides your chart trader. And so you just have a nice clean interface. And if you want it back, just click it. And for the control panel, you can actually collapse that It doesn't go completely hidden, but you press that and it just hides it nicely right here. Click it back, it pops up. So you can get a nice clean chart view if you want. The other thing you can do, if you have multiple indicators like this, you press this button here, it cleans up all of them. It hides your indicators for a minute so you can see what's going on. Then you just click it back and there they are. So if you have a lot of stuff on screen, it's real nice. Cleans it up real fast. So then you've got your news settings. We got no more news for today. There was some at 10. Yeah, it's just past, but that was there. Of course, if you have other things you'd like to see, so if you have, there's energy news, metals news, crypto news, you can click them all and they'll all pop up over here, whatever is showing, or global news, so you can see that as well. And then if you want to see what tomorrow is going to be like, keep it on or off, you click that, you'll actually see right here tomorrow's news. It looks like there's some unemployment claims tomorrow. You can also see low priority news if you're into that. So all of that. There's actually another option to make the news bigger. You can do that. And you can also see recent news. So this is what just happened if you'd like to see what just occurred. Okay. So let's start back up here real quick. This is your strategy information. And this is where you'll get a bird's eye view of what's going on. Your entry type, your connection, data series. If you got a trade, it'll show in here. Actually click that to see just the session trades. Your runtime trades are the trades that occurred from the moment you enable the strategy until you disable it. So it'll just keep adding into it. So if you run it for a full day, you'll see everything that's running there. If you have multiple sessions, if not, they're right in here. And then your historical, this just kind of gives you an idea of the charts. So it's not a back test per se, but it's very similar to strategy performance. So if you go strategy performance right in here, real time and historical, that's exactly what we're seeing here, but it's just right there real quick at your fingertips. You don't have to do this every day. This just shows it. It's right there, 1230, 1230, 17 trades and 76%. And so you see it right away, and as you're trading, it shows it to you. Now, it all depends on how many days you have. So our data series, I set it up to load 30 days. And so you're seeing a 30-day historical period right here. And so as the days go, this will change, and you can make professional decisions on what's happening. So if you know that win rate's staying up high, nice, keep trading it. If that win rate starts going down and you're like, maybe I'll pause for a couple weeks and wait for that win rate to move back up, we'll try a different strategy, that's an option. And we've got different times, the information. So you've got your local time here, you've got your NinjaTrader's time zone. So if you want to trade on a different time zone, you can do that and keep your local, and so you can see that. And then you've got your UTC time. I like that because with a community-based product, and people are all around the world. I've gone into many communities. People have shared many strategies, and nothing ever matches what they do because their time is different than my time. We've got the UTC time in there. It makes it really easy for you to know where in comparison to your current time you're at. And on top of that, I will show you something real cool that we're doing. So if you go into Strategy Analyzer, right, you go here and you go to your sessions, right? If you look right here and show time in, we got two options, NinjaTrader 8 time zone and UTC time. All you have to do is literally click that. All the times update to UTC time. Now, what you have to do at this point is just input whatever the other person told you that their UTC time was in. And so we just put that in here, 8 o'clock, right? And that'll automatically change it for you right here. So all you have to do is just input the right time and you're good to go. You're golden. And now you say, okay, that's great, but you've got a lot of settings. You've got time stuff. How do we know? How do we save this? How do we share this? What templates it's not always the best, right? So what I've done is I created an option here. So if you press the strategy button here, you'll actually get this pop-up that will show you all the settings that haven't changed from default. And so once we create the builder, those settings will remain defaulted. So whatever is there, we're not going to change them over time. And so when somebody updates them, they'll pop up right here, and it'll show you the data series, which is one thing that you always lose in templates, because they don't show you, if you're on a 1 minute chart, it doesn't tell you what the instrument you're trading on. It doesn't have that data when you're sharing templates, but in here, it'll always tell you to verify these items, because that's what the strategy is based off of, right? And then all of the settings that were changed from your default settings pop up right here. You can literally copy paste this. You can just copy a picture of this and send it to somebody. And then in here, your session data is always in UTC time. And so when you send this data to somebody, they can literally change it to UTC in the analyzer, put the time in, change it back to their time zone, and they've got a one-for-one copy of exactly what you did. And each of these, look at this, it tells you the indicator, it tells you the section, it tells you the option, and it tells you the selection. So you get everything right at your fingertips. Nothing is not there, right? And so it's really simple for a community to share their stuff, share their strategies with one another without any issues. It's all right there. That's the idea, with the community idea that we're going for, working as a team, building on something that hasn't been built before. You've got a professional interface, a professional control panel. You've got everything at your fingertips. It can't get better than that. And then as far as your filters and indicators and things, you can update that stuff live right here. If you got the control panel open and you want to update something, you want to add DCA settings, you can do that live, and you don't have to close down your strategy. You can also do, for example, you want your fractals, you just press that button, you see where your fractals are. And so now, oh, it's gotten real busy. You can press this button, it'll hide all the indicators, you can see your chart real nice. Press it back, see it again, close that. Everything is at your fingertips. And we're slowly going to add all of the other indicators in here, but for now we've got, I think, 4 or 5. We've got like the supply and demand zone. So you've got all sorts of options right here in the control panel. Now, not every single option will be available in the control panel, because some are very specific and they need to be, the strategy needs to shut down in order for them to reset. But as far as whatever we can make it without a reset, we put into that area, so that you can literally do everything live without turning off your strategy. That's basically the foundation of what we've built. The only other thing we haven't gone through is really the copier, but it's right here. You've got multiple options for balances and things like that. So it's not just copying, it's actually keeping track of what's happening. So if you've got an open trade, it'll show it right in here for all of your accounts. It'll show you the total for the day. This is the balance of your account. Now, in here, in the balance settings, you can actually update this. So you can actually select what kind of account this is. So that's a SIM account, your PA account. That's a funded account, funded, SIM, and evaluation account. So you can tell it what kind of accounts you've got. You can put the start balance right in here for these accounts. And then you can tell it if you want a goal that you're shooting for, just put that in there. And over here, look at this. So right here, you've got all these sections that will show up those specific accounts that you selected in here. So the type of account now shows up in here. And here you can tell it to show or calculate the balances. And if you don't want to see that, especially for some accounts, which I don't, I keep that off. So I don't see it, the balance here, and I don't have it calculated anywhere. But for everything else, the funded and evaluation accounts, I do want to see that. I keep that on, and it shows all my details nice and clean. The other reason I mentioned earlier, using a SIM account for your main account when you're copying, is because the copier will only flatten copied positions, so it doesn't go back and cancel anything in your strategy. So that's separate if there's some kind of error or something goes on. This will only flatten the copied position. This is basically the system. I think it's got a great foundation. It's going to go places. We're going to build it up. We're going to have a lot more in here. But I think it's at that point where I've tested it. I've actually traded with it for over a month now. Had some good weeks. We had a really bad last week. Ruined my average. You're going to have wins and you're going to have losses. That's the reality of it. But with a community backing you, with a product that works, I think we'll have a good chance at winning together. The only other thing I want to show you before I log off here is our website. And if you actually click this little button right there, that'll take you to the website as well. But here's our website, and it goes over a lot of the things that we spoke about. One thing you didn't see is that we do have a light mode and a dark mode. So if you like to trade in a light mode, that's completely doable. You're not going to get a dark control panel and a dark chart trader and all that. You'll get a nice light mode setting. So you have that option. Notifications, this is what I was talking about earlier. You'll get this notification pop up when a trade is taken for the first time and when it closes. Again, the copier, light mode, dark mode, everything that we have is both light and dark mode. Just different details. Again, more details. The community sharing features where you get that data right there that you can share, the UTC time, gone all over there. Our Discord, we can all chat, we can build strategies. We'll put the strategies in here in the community strategies section. And this is only open to actual community members, so you do have to join. Just letting you know that we've got more updates on the way, what's different about us, and then our pricing. Until you get to understand and know the ins and outs and how everything runs, it might take you a few days, right? So we don't offer any kind of trial period. Watch the videos. We do allow you to get into our Discord, into the free zone to ask questions. There's no free trial period just because I don't think in 7 days most people will be able to get the hang of it. And so subscription starts with a 3-month subscription. I think that's the best way. If you're a serious trader and you want to get into it, you'll spend the time, you'll learn it, and in 3 months you'll be more than happy and you'll know whether or not you want to move on, if you want to continue with the product or if you didn't find it useful. But I think you need over a month to really get into it, create the strategies, talk to members, and get yourself connected and see what's going on. And I think 3 months is where it's at. We provide a 3-month subscription. We do provide a 6-month subscription at a discount, and then a 12-month subscription. So we have 3 different tiers that are paid. So the first one is your strategy builder tier. That's where you don't get a community behind you. You still get your Discord, you get your support, you get all of that, but there is no community. You won't get to talk to them. I encourage people to go for the community tier because I think that's where it's at, but there's people that love to work on their own, and that's fine too. Your community tier will start at $200 a month, whereas strategy builder is just $150. So the community tier is $200. It's every 3 months, or 6 months, which you get a 1-month discount basically. And then you've got your CO Inner Sanctum. It's a 12-month subscription. It is more than the others. There's nothing fancy about it, but you do get a chat room where I'll be in at all times. You get a special Discord role, and it's really more about helping us succeed as a company. If you want to be there, help build the direction that we're going in, be able to get your voice heard more often, and help us create the roadmap, that's where you want to be, because your voice will be heard, and we will do what we can to make sure that everybody's voice will be heard. But you'll just get more access to me, really. But it's a little bit more, but I think for certain people, it's a great option. But right now, we are going live this month. It just started. We're on October 1st. We're going to go live in a couple of days. And for the first 100 users that join, we're actually going to give you a major discount for community tier only. It's $79 a month. And so you're going to get everything, all of the software. So you're going to get everything that anybody else got as far as software goes. The only difference is community tier, you get the community backing, and the CEO Inner Sanctum tier, you get more access to me. So that's where it's at. But for right now, $79 a month, either a 3-month subscription or a 6-month subscription. These are the coupon codes right here. So make sure you use them. And once that fills up, we're not going to be at that rate anymore. This will be the lowest it will ever be because of how much we are providing and how much we have planned. We really can't go any less than that. I think it's worth it. I can't wait to see people join. Can't wait to see people start creating strategies. There's already some in there from what I've done, from what one other user has done. I'm excited for where it's going. I hope you guys come and join. If you guys got questions, leave them in the comments. So come and join, and we'll see you.